Hi there, I am Bonnie McCaffery, and thank you so much for coming back for another VidCast. These are the three
sisters.
These are the three sisters, and they are Helen, who is from Australia.
G'day.
And Annette, who is from the Chicago area.
Yes.
in the United States. And then Gail, you're from British Columbia up in Canada.
Yes, I am.
And how did you girls meet?
Well,
we actually met
last year
at festival here last year.
Yeah? Just walking around, you said, oh, I want to be your quilting sister, or what?
Annette and I were both winners with Husqvarna Viking, and so we met the first year and became instant friends and realised there was something going on here.
Yeah.
And then the following year, we had decided to do a collaborative, and so Annette brought along a quilt for us to work on, and that night at Winners Circle, we met Gail.
Yeah.
Who was standing under my first place winning piece like this.
Wow.
And I saw her long, beautiful hair, and I thought, that woman is downright gorgeous. And we kind of parted, and I saw her again, and then I saw her a third time. I'm like, I got to get this woman's photograph.
Yeah.
So we started having a conversation and discovered she was an artist, and we shared quilting just back and forth. And by the end of the evening, I had collected her. And we had gone to dinner.
She joined the sisterhood.
She did.
I did.
And what was really interesting is that the quilt top that Helen and I were going to do a collaborative on was 3 flower heads. And she became the 3rd flower.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you finish that quilt?
That's the one that's won.
That
is the Three Sisters quilt.
And so by that night that we met, by 2 a.m. that morning, we had designed it, worked it out, planned it together. So that was literally 5 hours having met Gail and decided that's it, we're together.
Yeah.
And then we win 1 year later to the night, we win.
Well, everyone has a totem, you know,
Right.
a power animal that is associated with each person. And I was walking with Annette, and we were looking through the vendor section, and she said, Helen loves dragonflies. And I said, well, have you ever heard the story of the coyote being the trickster? Calls the dragon from the sky and tricks the dragon into changing into different forms. When the dragon finally changed into the dragonfly form, she got stuck. So the story, and that's looking at me really, really strangely, and I'm sort of going, well, why is she looking at me so weird? She says, you've got to tell Helen the story. So when we're designing everything and talking about this collaborative quilt, I tell the story again, and then these guys both start looking at each other. And I'm going, well, what's going on here? Well, this lady's had the purple coyote for 15 years as her email address.
Oh,
this
my
lady's totem is the dragonfly.
Because she's
I
got
can
one
share it
on
with
her
you,
neck.
Bonnie. There we go.
Oh! She has a tattoo on the back of her neck of a dragonfly.
And I'm the dragon.
Oh my gosh. And all 3 of those symbols are in the quilt.
Yes.
Wow.
It just all came
was
together.
That was
Yeah.
just the sort of final thing that
The reason
we have to do
we
this.
were
Sealed the deal.
We were just looking at each other so bizarre because Gail didn't know I was the coyote.
I know. I didn't know that at all.
And it just kind of gave us goosebumps.
Yeah. I'm a great believer in synchronicity. I think you're put in the right place to meet the right people that
Definitely.
you're
That's
supposed to
right.
connect with. Yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty neat. So who did the painting of the faces? I think you...
Gail did.
I did. I've been a professional portrait artist for many, many, many years.
Yeah. So you did the portraits. Which part did you do on the quilt?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. Ooh.
So it started off as the quilt top. I initiated that.
Right,
It was
right.
a quilt top with 3 flower heads done in hand dyes and batiks, just really rich, yummy colors.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And when I first showed it to Helen, she said, "Well, what's the name? What's the title of it?" And I had been thinking of my 3 daughters. And I said, well, I think it's called the Three Sisters. Little did I know
my
that
gosh.
we were going to be the Three Sisters.
Yeah.
So Gail took it to Canada and painted our portraits on top of what was already pieced. So I did the faces and hands because that's kind of my forte. I do a technique I call relief quilting, so I try and create three-dimensionality of a face,
Right.
which is
Oh.
interesting. So I do a lot of micro stippling. I sent it to Helen in Australia.
Yeah.
And she did the rest of the quilting, creating the coyote and the quilting and the dragon and the dragonfly again. And
Well, the difference with Annette and I, the way we work, we're both, like to draw with the sewing machine. I see the sewing machine as a drawing tool.
Yeah.
So I'm not from a sewing background.
Yes.
I've actually only been quilting for 4.5 years. So I see the quilting as drawing. So I add a lot of line work and detail to what I do. But yeah, Annette's forte is the micro quilting. I'm the macro quilter.
Okay.
I had 10 days to do my part.
Focus and get it done, right?
Get on with it.
Yeah.
The house was not cleaned. We ordered pizza. a lot.
Oh, what's the point of house cleaning?
so I got it back and realized that this has such just an immense creative story to it that we needed to have the story told on the back. So I created a secondary quilt that told the story of the piece and the way that we met.
Wow.
Here we are.
You've brought a couple of quilts that we can talk about. Tell me about this one right here.
Well, this is a piece called Protea. It's a flower that's grown in Australia. This is a bleach painted piece. It started out purple, which is our favourite colour. It's a heavy purple fabric and I've bleached painted into it and it reveals the different layers of pink. So there's dark pink and then the light pink.
And how about this one?
It's called Seek and Find, based on the Indian Sikhism, their religion.
Yes.
And so within the quilting, I've hidden 6 icons of India. So if you do get a close look at this quilt, you'll find the Taj Mahal, the Shiva, the peacock, the Raja elephant, the cobra, and the Trimantra. There's 6 icons in there for you to find, and that's the challenge. And then the extra challenge is my dragonfly, always hidden in my quilt.
Yeah.
This third one here, this is called Soulmates. It depicts 2 pink galahs, which are Australian birds, and they will mate for life. So there's a yin and yang in the quilting, and that's to show the birds will mate for life.
Now, Annette, you have, this is one of your newest pieces.
This is brand new. This is a digital photograph that I took from my own garden, and it's the very center of a poppy. I had it digitally printed on fabric that, with the exception of the border, it is one piece of fabric, and I call it Poppy, a Remembrance Rose.
The other thing is that you won a prize also for another piece that you have in there, and what's the title of that one?
Ladies of the Louvre.
In France, the museum in France.
The premise is that I've gone to the Louvre to hunt for the Mona Lisa, and when I find her, she looks like me.
That's pretty neat.
Probably my all-time favorite is called Moon Dance. It's an image of my daughter dressed in a Pocahontas costume with her hair swirling, and there's a great hawk and a moon behind it all.
And now I have a book with some of Gail's work. Oh, how big is this piece and what is it called?
It's approximately 24 by 36, and it is called Lady Anne's Bower. Years ago, women had a sort of sacred place that they could go to, and it was their spot. Men weren't allowed to come in.
Oh, we like that.
And
I think it's the IQA quilt show. I'm sorry, men are allowed.
It's okay, Ricky, come back.
And they were surrounded by flowers, they were surrounded by beauty, they had their peace and their peace of mind in there, and I just tried to, show this. And this is my daughter. I use her in a lot of my quilts as a model.
Yeah.
That's Lindsay again. She's a fairy princess standing in front of Stonehenge in England. And to me, she's a fairy princess, and that's a fairy star. Those are her attendants, the fairy attendants. And around her is a sign of infinity, and it's a full moon. So it's a full moon ceremony at Stonehenge. There's bathing in long shadows.
This is a gorgeous piece.
God. That won 2 awards at the National Quilting Association.
That's exquisite.
And this one also won 2 awards at the National Quilting Association. These children are Quaker children that I met in Columbus, Ohio, and they're beekeepers, so I wanted it very rustic. And so the whole outside is a complete needlework frame, and then the inside I did their portraits, and she's looking at the bees that are coming out of the oak tree. This one is one that won second in Canada in a show there. This is a Chinese dragon. If you turn the lights out, it glows in the dark. The moon glows in the dark, his teeth and his nails and the clouds and these strips here just to highlight around him.
How did you make them glow in the dark?
Using glow-in-the-dark paint mixed with
Yeah.
yeah, and it works. It's just,
It's so
you walk
cool.
in and if you don't expect it, you walk into the room and all of a sudden, and it's dark, and all of a sudden you see these things glowing, you're going, okay.
You see, she truly is the dragon.
She is the dragon. Yeah, there are some dragons in here. Wow, what a treat to meet the Quilting sisters from Australia, United
US.
States, and British Columbia, Canada.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing this. This is really a treat to get to meet you girls.
It's
Thank
really
you,
a treat
Bonnie.
to
Thank you,
get to
Bonnie.
meet
It's been
you
great.
and seeing your work throughout the years.
Beautiful.
And everything you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for coming by and seeing us this month. I hope you'll come back next month and see what we have for you then. Thanks for being with me.
Bye.
Bye.